And this is so sad, and because even WHO have released statistics that 1 in 3 people in their lifetime have ever passed through a mental health condition. And also, on a sad note, also in the case of suicide, you get to see a lot of people, more than 700. It's been estimated that every year we lose about more than 700,000 people just because of suicide. And this is important. And this is to make you understand that conversations around mental health are so important. And that is why we have the IFMSA mental health program, because it is something that is so critical. Mental health is not just something like a by the way, which people think that, oh, it's just a by the way, it's just having fun, entertainment. No, it's not that. Mental health is a really huge public health concern, because in fact, there's a recent statistics that show that currently mental health is the condition is the issue that is affecting many people in this world, much more compared to cancer. So mental health is really so important, guys. Next slide. Okay. So now here comes something very important in the IFMSA mental health program. So we have different focus areas. We have 7 focus areas. And I want you guys to see these 7 focus areas as 7 doors. So imagine you want to walk through this particular door. I mean, you want to encounter mental health. You want to understand what is mental health all about in IFMSA. There are 7 doors, guys, 7 doors. And when you open this door, it's going to introduce you to something so special. And so these focus areas include mental health promotion and prevention, mental health advocacy and public awareness. Don't worry, I'm going to talk about it more in the next slides. We have integration of mental health into primary health care. We have the dangers of substance abuse. We have mental health for medical students. We have communities vulnerable to mental health. And then we have children's mental health. So if you're an activity coordinator and you are thinking of conducting an activity, I want you to look at these 7 focus areas. And when you look at them, you have to understand that any of your mental health activity can at least fit into any of these focus areas. Or you may be wanting to do an activity and you don't know how to start, you don't know what to do. We have these 7 focus areas which are going to help you guys. And it's also going to help you to implement your activity, and it's going to even help you even evaluate your activity. So when you have your activities fixed in any of this, it's really going to help you. Next slide. Okay. So we have mental health promotion and prevention. So okay, I don't know. I had some other slides which had some photos for the activities, but it's okay. We just go ahead with this. So we have mental health promotion and prevention. And when it comes to enrollment, I have come to see that there is many people don't understand the difference between mental health promotion and prevention and mental health advocacy and public awareness. So these 2 focus areas are used all together. So for mental health promotion and prevention, it's more of talking about the things which can protect people from having mental health conditions. You can be having an activity like workshops. You can have conversations where you will be promoting the aspect of mental health in your communities. And then as simple as activities which people can go out for a picnic and maybe just play, eat, or have a dancing challenge, that falls under mental health promotion and prevention. Because when people are exposed in an environment where they feel safe, when people are exposed in an environment where life looks like fun, it's really going to boost and push their mental health. And I know we may have heard of this many times, that prevention is better than cure. And that is actually so true. because it's also been estimated, WHO, with some WHO research, that a number of mental health conditions arise when people are in their adolescent years. But also, please don't confuse this, because we have another focus area on children's mental health. And also, to note again, Leila told you also, we revised the program descriptions for every program, and the focus areas are some of the things, are part of the things which we have revised in the mental health program. So you may be seeing some little changes, not so much, but they are clearly explained and clearly defined so that you guys won't be confused. Yeah. Next slide. Okay. Now, mental health advocacy and public awareness. And as this quote goes, what mental health needs is more sunlight, more candor, and more unashamed conversation. So, a huge difference between mental health promotion and prevention and mental health advocacy and public awareness is the fact that advocacy and public awareness talks more of reducing stigma, more of reducing stigma. Let's have conversations regarding the fact that it's okay that you don't have everything sorted, that it's okay that you may be having some certain mental health conditions. It's totally okay. So that's more of advocacy and public awareness. And some of the activities which you can have here is you can have podcasts, you can have podcasts, you can even include creating policies, making policies, because you are advocating for mental health and you are saying that mental health is really important in our area. So podcasts, you can do some radio shows, TV shows. When I was still working in my NMO as the National Officer for the Standing Committee on Mental Health, there's a particular time where we used to visit the radio station and have conversations on mental health and its importance. So this is one of the things which you guys can think of having. Yeah, next slide. Okay. Now we have mental health among medical students, which I think you guys may know more about it, because I know medical school is so tough. Medical school is so tough, and it's so crazy. I understand. There's a time I remember one time during my finals, I told myself that um I'm gonna do a research on what studying medicine does to your brain, because at that time I felt as if my brain cells were crashing. It's like everything was crashing. Sometimes I would wake up at night and I would be crying and asking myself, how did I get myself in medical school? So now imagine we are living in a world where there is mental health crisis everywhere, and then now imagine that you are a medical student. That is so crazy and so tough. And that is why we have this focus area here, mental health among medical students. And this quote, take care of yourself first, or you will have nothing left to give others. You cannot serve from an empty vessel, guys. You cannot serve from an empty vessel. I know medicine has taught us about how to give ourselves for others. You wake up every night, you're studying, you want to be the best for your patients, you want to save lives, and sometimes we end up forgetting about yourself. And that is the reason why we have this focus area. And this photo here is an activity which was done by, I'm sorry, I'm biased, by my NMO, Msake, Kenya. And it was a suicide prevention at awareness campaign, where it included lighting of candles in honor of students who had committed suicide. I remember last year it was really crazy in our NMOs. In my NMO, we had lots of students committing suicide, and this is one of the things that we decided to do. So we had a candle lighting, we had a suicide art exhibition. So we had people showing art exhibitions, which included what were they? Paintings, stories, so anything that would communicate. So that was it about it. And then also there was a podcast which followed after. So I'm telling you guys this so that in case you want to carry out an activity, you can draw some inspiration. Yeah, next slide. Okay, and then we have this focus area here, which is dangers of substance abuse. And okay, the interesting thing about this focus area is many people don't enroll their activities under this focus area, and it is something that is so critical and important. I mean, look around the world everywhere. So many people taking alcohol, people smoking, medical students into drugs, and also we have social media addiction. So that is, I call it like it's a substance. So there is social media addiction. There is what else? What else? Gaming. Yeah, you can be addicted to gaming. There is pornography as well. I think there was an activity just done which was advocating, spreading awareness on the dangers of pornography and how people can get to heal and to overcome that. So these are some of the things which you can consider. And a shout out to Simsa Indonesia, this animal with always amazing initiatives. So they did this activity, a public advocacy activity, which was focused on explaining more about the brain rot cycle and excessive screen time. And it was held during a car-free day in a city in there anymore. And it used interactive education posters. And they had this thing which was called the wall of reset. So people were like writing, okay, from today on, I'm going to do this to stay away from digital addiction. So it was I really, really love this activity. So maybe this is one of the things which you can consider. You can consider doing. Yeah. Next slide. Okay, and then we have communities, especially vulnerable to mental health. And these communities are communities which are mostly vulnerable. I mean, many times these guys don't have support or they don't have the advantage or the leverage to be at a good position in the society. So we have the terminally sick people, can be cancer patients, it can be, yeah, any terminally sick person. And then we also have refugees. Right now, there's so much war happening in the world, and I put this photo here because this is one of the activities which we did about mental health in conflict zones. So these people are communities who are vulnerable to mental health. And then we also have the elderly. I have a photo of an activity which was done by the elderly in another slide. And many times people tend to forget that the elderly are vulnerable to mental health because they are growing old, they may feel lonely, and many times they get to have conditions like dementia, and it can be so hard for them to cope through. And that is the reason why we have this focus area. So you may be thinking, you may want to have activities where you can visit homes, elderly homes, you can visit hospitals, talk to the parents of terminally sick children. You can have campaigns which advocate for the mental health of refugees, or yeah, you can have any of these guys, or a webinar or collaboration. So this is one of the things which you can have. You can also have digital campaigns, social media campaigns. You can do videos, you can do podcasts. Yeah, either of them can work. Yeah. Next slide. Okay, I think this is the second last one. So we have children's mental health. This I find this to be one of my most favorite focus areas because I really love kids. And there is this quote here that children, because children grow up, we think a child's purpose is to grow up, but a child's purpose is to be a child. A child's purpose is just to be a child. And many times people forget this, and you get to find kids going through so much in this. I mean, I think this generation is kind of perverse, and so we have kids who are going through a lot. And it's important, guys, that you get to have activities where you are advocating for the mental health of these kids. Many times people will say, oh, they're just kids, what have they gone through in life? They don't need it. They're not going, they don't have to stress themselves about bills. But actually, these kids go through a lot. When I was 6, I remember when I was 6, I began having suicidal ideations. So that was so crazy. By 6, by 9, at that time I had suicidal ideations and had was going through some addictions and a lot of mental health issues, and no one knew that. And right now, if you ask people, people may not think, people are surprised. Like, I mean, you are 6 and you went through this. and it's and right now I think it's so much worse because as time keeps moving forward, we get to have kids who are going through so much. So kids' mental health is really so important. And this was an activity which was done in a place that is like a slum, let me put it that way. So they went and they were talking to the kids about mental health. And yeah, I have another activity also in another slide, so you guys can borrow some inspiration. Yeah, next slide. Yeah, and then finally, we have integration of mental health into primary healthcare. Again, this is one of the activities that have very few people enrolling. And integration of mental health into primary healthcare is basically introducing mental health into the medical circle, the medical system, because when people are rushed to the hospital for during emergencies, few people take time to consider their mental health. I mean, you'll be concerned about your blood pressure. Please check check the heartbeats, if everything okay with them physically. And many times people end up forgetting about this. I remember this one time I was in the hospital and there was this woman who had and why was it? A hypoglycemic shock. She had diabetes, and she was and there after now we were taking care of her, giving her some fluids. I just took time and began asking her, is everything okay? Is your family okay at home? And then now she began opening up and saying things are not fine at home. I have issues with my husband. There are stories like that. And then now it made me realize that one of the reasons why she is having all this stress is because of what is happening to her at home. And at that time, she just needed someone who will be talking to her, just someone to let her know that that someone is there and I care about you. And now that is why we have this focus area. We want to integrate mental health into primary healthcare. So you can have things like mental health screening. You can have something like a booth during a mental health day, and then you can have partner with some psychologists or psychiatrists and have people come in. You can have free therapy, and you can also advocate for the integration of mental health into primary healthcare. You can think of having things like apps. You can design apps which can help doctors to take care of people's mental health. So there is so much work that you guys can do in relation to this, and you can also work on what are they called, policy documents, which will be advocating that mental health really needs to be integrated into primary health care. Yeah. Next slide. Okay. So we have climate anxiety, which is one of the things we're going to talk about. I think we'll do that at the end. We're going to do it with our lovely PC Layla, because this is something that has been happening, and interesting enough, in some parts of the world, people really talk about this. And we're going to give you guys some tips and some ideas about this topic, and you can want to do an activity which includes this. Yeah. Next slide. Okay. So the benefit of having focus areas is it helps you to think about what you really want to do. So when you have a focus area like mental health for medical students, you will now think, okay, so mental health for medical students, so who exactly needs the action? So you're going to think, okay, so medical students are the ones who really need this. And then so you'll ask yourself, so what am I going to do? What are we going to do? Are we going to have a camp? Are we going to have are we going to have an outdoor activity? Are we going to have a webinar? And then eventually, at the end of it all, I think this is something we're also going to talk about at the end, about evaluation. So immediately you have an activity, you can evaluate and see if you really manage to complete or to complete all your outcomes or all your objectives. Yeah. Next slide. Okay. And then guys, don't worry. So I know we have quite a number of focus areas, and you may be thinking, oh, there's so much, I don't know where to go to, I really don't know what to do. But don't worry, because we have an IFMSA mental health toolkit. We have an IFMSA mental health toolkit. We have the mental health programs description. So it talks about these focus areas more, and then it explains each of these focus areas. It explains some of the interventions which you can have, the objectives, the interventions, and the milestones. So this is something so important. And then we have an activity management manual. It's a toolkit which is able to guide any activity coordinator who wants to do any activity. So whether it be an activity in environmental health, in mental health, you don't worry, because it will help you to even know how to come up with a stakeholder analysis, or do how to come up with the activity. And then now you have your program coordinator for mental health and your program coordinator for environment health. In case you feel you're in doubt, you have any questions, you're afraid, or you don't think this is gonna work, you can always reach out to your program coordinator, who are always there for you, always willing to help you, and they can help you even come up with ways of making your activities better. So your program coordinators are a very great asset that you have in IFMSA. Yeah. Next slide. Okay, so finally, these are some photos of some activities which are done by very amazing activity coordinators from different parts of the world. So this first photo here is an activity just done by FIMSIC Finland. It's a secondary school outreach. So every year they get to reach out to students, and I think so far, right now they have reached over 635 students. So I really love this activity so much. It's a secondary school outreach. They talk to the kids about the adolescents, about mental health. And yeah, so guys, when you do an activity, you enroll it and report it. Next time you may find yourself in any of these slides. So yeah, we are really waiting to see your activities. And then this second activity was done by SIMSA Indonesia. So they visited an elderly home, and they were talking to the elderly people who had dementia, and taking them through some activities like drawing, art, music. This is something so special, and I really had to include it here. And then this one, some arty documents. These are this arty board is an activity just done by North Cyprus. So it was done during the Mental Health May campaign that we had on May, and they got to enroll it, and they had this way of advocating for mental health for the medical students. So it's really so lovely. And then finally, this one is this one where you can see some little nice dolls and some people viewing the screen. Was an activity just done by Medsco Oman, and it was an exhibition of the drawings of pediatric patients. So they had an activity where the pediatric patients in the hospital, got to do some paintings, and then it was exhibited. And that was also a way of getting to raise funds for the kids' medical care, and while also advocating for their mental health. So that was really so lovely. Yeah. Next slide. Okay, so this is the last slide. I just want you to know, guys, that mental health is a noble topic. I think mental health is special because you get to talk to the hearts of that medical student in class who doesn't have any hope in life, but he constantly comes to class just because he wants to make his family proud, or to make himself proud. And mental health is that way where you get to reach to the hearts of these people, and letting them know that it's okay to not be okay. It's for them to know that whatever they're going through in life is gonna pass. And actually people care. People care so much. And so mental health is a noble topic. And then also I want you guys to care for everyone. okay, to care for the people around you. Learn to care for the people around you, the people in class. People may not really look okay, but it's important for you to just reach out to people and get to know how they're doing. And then serve. Now, service here comes with the point of view, guys, carrying out activities. So yeah, carry out activities, enroll it, report it. We have so many opportunities in IFMSA in case you feel you don't know how to go about things. We have a lot of webinars. We have activities which are happening in SCOF, so many of them. And yeah, so many of them, and they're really gonna help you. And then remember to light up the world. I take it like a candle. Okay, this is an activity which we had on May, but one of the things that drove me to even have this name is we are living in tough times in this world at the moment. We're having earthquakes, we're having floods, we're having uh, things which may be making you question, is life really worth living? And I want you to know that there are people who may feel so left out. There are people who feel like there's no hope in life at all. But when you take a single candle, and that single candle is just like you telling someone that I really love what you're doing, and you're really brave. I I love how you push yourself. And when you light that one candle, that one person may light the candle of another person, another person, and eventually we are going to have a world that is being lit up with light because we have people who care. So don't forget to light up the world in any possible way you can, just by giving words of hope, by caring for people, and just by being the best version of yourself. Yeah, so yeah, that is all for me. I'd like to hand it over to Era.
Thank you so much, Pat. I don't think I will do justice in anything I will be talking about right now after the beautiful things you just talked about and the importance of these topics for environment, starting from environmental health that Leila mentioned and mental health that Pat mentioned. I will unfortunately be talking about something that's more technical. I will not be saying all those beautiful words that you two mentioned, but I will be talking about something that may be more technical, but it's also very important, especially to IFMSA. It's the way your activity, we were talking about activities all this time by the two program coordinators. They showed us many examples. They showed us all the focus areas, what you can do, how to choose a focus area, what to choose like specifically on the focus area, if you want to do an activity, keywords, everything. And yes, you do, for example, your activity, or you're planning on doing your activity, and then what? It's the point where you can enroll it. And why should you enroll an activity? I feel like a lot of pressure right now because I have 3 program coordinators in this Zoom meeting, and I want to do justice to the enrollment process. But the reason why you should enroll is not only because you gain more visibility with your activity and your NMO, but also more eligibility when it comes to, for example, showcasing, I must say, showcasing these activities to our externals. These activities are used, it's not, just not a number, like one activity from, I don't know, ACMS Albania that's done. It's also a tool that's used with externals, where it's used in policy papers, it's used in delegations, and it's actually used to showcase the impact that IFMSA has all around the world. It's not just a student organization where we just yap, we talk about things and we call it a day. We actually show the impact on everything that has been done in every association organization that's within IFMSA. This is why the process of enrollment is important. I will also be looking at the chat while I'll be talking. But before I continue with whatever else I will be talking about, I would really love to know from our participants, what level of engagement do you have in IFMSA by far? Are you a general member? Are you an activity coordinator? Have you coordinated any activities before? Are you maybe an LPO, NPO, or again, just a general member, like being here because you want to learn more about the IFMC programs and enrollment process and everything. I just want to know from you um, before I continue, so also kind of know what's my target audience, who I'm talking to. Okay, just learning more about the programs and the 3 other participants that were here. Okay, we have NPO. Amazing. Okay. So, okay, it's like a mixed audience, like maybe like a general member and then an NPO who's maybe more experienced and maybe know a few things more about the enrollment process. So essentially, because when I was a general member myself, I heard enrollment so many times, and in my head, I thought that enrollment was just coordinating the activity and calling it a day. I did not know that it was like a whole process you had to go through for enrollment. I learned it the hard way when I became an NPO assistant 2 years ago. But it's not as complicated as it sounds. Enrollment is just basically even before you do an activity or while you're doing an activity or after you finish an activity, you can basically fill out a form with the information of your activity. The form, I will be sharing it in just a bit. It's not complicated. And after you fill out this form, if you are filling, for example, for an activity that is in the focus area of environment and health, the program coordinator of environment and health will see that submission, for example, Leila, and she will go through it, she will review it, she may accept it immediately if the submission is perfect and there are no needs for changes. If you need to change a few things, she will contact you and you will change those things, and then you will have hopefully accepted enrolled activity in IFMSA. That's about it. It's not that complicated. It's just you having your idea even before you submit, even before you conduct the activity, and just filling out this form. So, but before we get into the form itself, I want to talk just very shortly about what are some very common mistakes that program coordinators and the program team sees while looking at all the submissions for all these activities. Something that Leila mentioned a few times is choosing the wrong focus areas. Sometimes an activity, or let's say better, it may be merged into maybe two programs or two focus areas. For example, WASH, as we were saying, it may be linked to water sanitation or waterborne diseases. So you have to be kind of careful on what are the exact objectives of your activity and what you want to and where do you want to later on enroll it in. So, for example, if Leila wants to see an activity about water sanitation and you're talking about all these viruses in the water and how they're bad for health, she will probably tell you, hey, look, maybe consider another program, maybe consider another focus area, or maybe try to make your activity more linked to environment and health. Writing goals that are too broad. So I will be talking just shortly about goals and objectives. So writing objectives that are not smart, weak indicators of success. I will also be talking about this in just a bit. Methodology that is too vague. For example, there's a section in the form where you are asked to write the methodology, like what was done throughout the activity, what methodologies you use, and whatever. And they may be a case, for example, to say, oh, I did a campaign, submit. That is wrong. Program coordinators and the programs team wants to know every single detail. Let them know everything from the ideation, from like the very, very beginning phases until the implementation. Even if you are still in the implementation phase or like at the very end evaluation, even if you're not done with that, like continue and give details for everything that was done previously. Unclear target group or beneficiaries. Target groups are basically the people who you're targeting for your activity, while beneficiaries are is a whole population that may benefit. For example, if you're doing something for mental health and you are targeting medical students, your target group, for example, may be medical students at this X university, my faculty, my university. But beneficiaries in the future may also be the patients of those medical students, because in a way or another, you're helping out mental health of medical students, and this may lead to like better practitioners of medicine in the future. Mismatch between problem, goal, and intervention. I will be talking about this very shortly as well. So, just so you guys, let me know if you can still see the screen and you can see the form.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, amazing. So, this is the most famous form in IFMSA, which is the IFMSA Activity Enrollment Form. This is basically where you fill out all this information I was talking about. I think this is very well explained, but to fulfill this form, you also need a candidature form. This is something that you can very easily get from your NMO president, is just or anyone that's the head of your NMO. It's just a like very basic form that states that the activity was actually done by your NMO, like just having some eligibility that this was a legit activity done by your NMO. You can also find some links for the focus areas that, again, may be renewed this August meeting, hopefully, and the program descriptions, again, which will probably get some updates. I will very, very quickly just go through the form. I will not be filling anything because it will take a while, but I just want you guys to see how the form looks like. And here you need to upload something. Oh my God, I will upload like something very random just so I can go through with the next section. Okay, I'm on my sister's laptop and I don't even know what's in her laptop. So okay. Name of your activity. Don't mess this up. It's just the name of your activity in English. Okay, so if you cannot translate the name, you can choose to add English subtitle, but preferably it's the name of your activity in English. And this should be the same as the name in the candidature form. I will just like type random things just so I can get through this. The other question is, in what level is your activity being implemented? In the local level, you're doing it, for example, in your university, in your local community. National level, you're doing it like, for example, in a few local committees at the same time, and you're doing, for example, a campaign nationally, online, or a webinar that is done for every member of your NMO, not only your local committee. A regional one, which is when you are doing an inter-NMO collaboration within your region. So, for example, it's your NMO that is doing this activity, and you want to collaborate with another NMO, which is like your neighboring country. And the international level is when you are doing activities with different NMOs from different regions. For example, ACMS Albania and IFMSA Egypt. We're doing an activity together, and this is the international level. But all these levels are like eligible, like I've had also, like, again, just as a member from the SCOP international team, I cannot even think of how many questions the program coordinators have had. For example, oh, my activity is very, very small. Can I enroll it? Can I submit this? Of course you can. It doesn't have to be like the biggest activity that your NMO or IFMSA has seen. You always can start very, very small with a local committee activity, or an activity that maybe doesn't have like an impact of, I don't know, 2,000 people. Even if like 2 people are influenced to do something, if we're talking about mental health, even like if it was just 2 medical students that performed better in, I don't know, a post-evaluation form for the campaign you did, that is 100% eligible to be enrolled, to be submitted, and you're very welcome to do so. The region of the activity, just whatever, not applicable, only if it's in the international level. So even if you're doing like in the 2 NMOs that are from different regions. Okay, so I'm just going to very quickly go through the form. Name of the activity coordinator, also the PCs, because I have three PCs here. If you have like enrollment mistakes that you see very, very often in any of these sections, please just like talk it out, okay? Like let us know maybe what people should be aware of while filling in the form. So please specify only one activity coordinator, and this has to be provided in the candidature form as well. I hope there are like no mix-ups on that. Of another activity coordinators, if there's more than one, if none, just none. National member organization of the activity coordinators needs to be the same as in the candidature form as well. Personal email, an email that you check very, very often because you'll probably get some emails from the program coordinators asking maybe you to change some things, or maybe you can get your approval there. So make sure to have an email that you check very often. Official NMO email, contact information, um, WhatsApp contact number. Okay, I mean, it's, oh my God, this doesn't, okay, wait, okay, sure. When your activity is expected to start. Again, you can enroll something that hasn't like been conducted yet. Okay, interesting. In which of the following categories does your activity fit best? If you're confused, there's also a short video you can like click on here, but it's basically what's like the main methodology. So it may be capacity building events, you're teaching, giving sessions, education, like sharing information, like the sessions for teenagers about mental health, advocacy, campaign, publication. You can also like look at this and think of examples for your next activities. If like you haven't done any of these methodologies before, you're like, okay, maybe we can do some research, or okay, maybe we can publish something. So there's going to be also some examples, which is the standing committee of your activity. I hope most of the times will be SCOF, the Standing Committee on Public Health. If you have any activities that you want to enroll in these other programs, you can check your in other standing committees. You can check their own initiatives. But like all in all, it's like the same process of enrollment for both for all standing committees and all the programs. Okay, what is the general temporal? Okay, so you have this activity that you're doing can be done for the first time ever. This is called a first time activity. Continuous activity, first time enrollment, but the activity has never been like has existed but has never been enrolled before, or a continuous activity that has been enrolled before. You are enrolling it as another time. If I like correct me if I'm wrong, PCs, but this can also be reported, right? Like if you do not want to enroll an activity that you have already enrolled, you can report it, right?
Yes, if the activity is the same, like nothing changed in enrollment form and nothing changed in the methodology, objectives, etc., you just need to enroll one time, then you're going to report it each year. But if you change something in the activity, you need to enroll again in the continuous activity enrollment renewal, then you can report it as well.
Yes, thank you, Leila. General description of the activity. Just like I also highly encourage, it's very common these days to just use ChatGPT to write everything, but sometimes it's better something concise and coherent rather like just a paragraphs of just words that like a program coordinator has to go through so many submissions, make their life easier, have a very good general description, keep it like don't keep it very short, but keep it concise and keep it like informative for the program coordinator. So the program coordinator like actually understands the description of the activity. You can upload photos, infographics, like whatever you use for PR. And if your activity, there's also the Sustainable Development Goals that were set by UN by 2020, so 2030. And if your activity is kind of relevant to any of those goals, which mostly for IFMSA for activities that are done by NMOs, it's mostly SDG 3 and SDG 4, which is good health and well-being or quality education. I think this is mostly SCOME, but like for example, like 99.9% of the times your activity may fall under the goal 3, which is good health and well-being. Problem statement. We can have like a full session, maybe like more than 3 hours on like activity management and activity planning, where we can talk about problem statements, backgrounds, methodologies, objectives, etc., etc. But just because I do not want to yap for too long, because we are doing okay, we're not doing very great on time, but you can like look at some problem statement examples even here. But you can also, for each section, there is an attachment, a link or something for you to look at if you have any questions on how to do it. And there's always the option to just contact your program coordinators if you have any questions for the enrollment process. The target groups, so who are you targeting? If we're doing, for example, something on mental health, if there's within a whole focus or area on itself for children, you can write that. Beneficiaries, so who is benefiting from this activity, general population, IFMSA members, etc., etc. Objectives. I feel like I'm talking too fast. If you guys have any questions for anything I'm like saying right now, again, I'm just going through it very, very quickly just to get an idea of what the enrollment form looks like, because I had many questions when I was just introducing the enrollment form myself. Oh my God. But if you have any questions, just raise your hand or open your mic, and I will be very glad to answer them. Objectives is something that, again, program coordinators, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's something that you send applications back a lot because of not having objectives written as they should be. So objectives need to follow the most famous criteria in IFMSA. The more involved you are in IFMSA, the more you're going to hear about the SMART criteria of objectives. So an objective is basically what is helping you achieve the goal that you want to achieve, or the goals that you want to achieve within your activity. But for an objective to be a good objective, an objective that the program coordinators are going to accept within your submission, they have to be following the criteria SMART. SMART is an acronym that stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. So you'll have to you have to build this sentence, you have to build this objective where you have to show that the objective is very specific. For example, you are specifying the target group, you are specifying the timeline, you are specifying everything. Measurable, put some numbers in there, like 80% of participants, this many percentage of participants, this number of participants. Achievable, how tangible is it? For example, your objective is that by the end of this session, 100% of participants will be able to yada yada yada. 100%, although it's a very beautiful number, although it's like the ideal, it's probably not very achievable. So you maybe need, like, whenever you write your objectives, you just may need to make them more realistic. That's the A part. And like that leads to realistic or relevant, which is how feasible these objectives are to the context of your activity. You have to do things that are related to the goal that you want to achieve. And time bound, what is the like linear time that you want to achieve this activity in? Is it by the end of the activity, by the end of the small session we're doing for this campaign, by the end of this deadline, etc., etc. It's not, and you also have examples everywhere, so do not worry. If you have any questions at any point, again, just please like ask them. Indicators for each objective. So yes, you're sending out goals, you're setting out objectives, but how do you know that these objectives are reached? By indicators of success. So let's look at just one example. Raising awareness of 150 medical students about digital transformation advancements in medical education in healthcare practice throughout capacity building sessions by August 2020. 24. This is a long objective, but this is a smart objective. And what is maybe an indicator of this indicator of success for this objective is at least 130 medical students attended the CB sessions. So it's mostly, again, as I've seen, it's mostly numbers. So for example, an indicator of success of a campaign you're doing, and you have like a whole objective for this campaign is that it reached this many number of likes on social media. So when you look back at your activity and you want to see if your activity actually met your objectives, you just look at the indicators of success. Did we actually reach 130 medical students? If you did, then that's an indicator that you succeeded with this objective. If you did not, that's an indicator that you did not succeed. I hope it's not very, very complicated. Methodology, you have to, I mean, like you have examples here, like a step by step, but you have to probably answer these questions. What are we going to do? So what are you going to do in this activity? When are you going to do it? Timeline. Who is going to do it? Organizing committee, probably. With what resources? Is it self-funded? Is it sustainable? Or do you need some extra funding from an external? And how will make it a continuous success, continue successfully? So looking at it for a sustainability point of view. Again, yes, Leila.
Just want to mention something that you can think of methodology as you are giving a recipe to your friend. Like you have this favorite meal to cook, and your friend is asking, okay, how are you cooking this? Can you give me a recipe? So you need to give every detail in order to make this perfect meal, right? You need to give the temperature that they need to cook. You need to give the list of ingredients. So in this case of our resources, ingredients, how they need to chop them, in which shape, whatever. So everything, when they need to do that, the steps, timeline, everything. So think that if you gave them not enough specific things, specific details, they'll be cooking the meal, but in the middle of it, they're like, okay, what shall I do next? So when we are reading a methodology that's not very complete or not specific, we are thinking, okay, but you did this, but how you did this, when you did this, with whom help did you get, which funds did you use? So we are just confused. So think of it like you're giving a very precise recipe to someone else. And yeah, write your methodology as like that. Thank you, love.
Thank you, Leila, for the amazing analogy. I hadn't thought about it that way. But yeah, just think of it as like the program coordinator wants to see and wants to look at every single step you follow, just like they were there present, just like they were part of, just like they were in your brain, okay? So like make sure like to write everything, again, not word by word or like not every single detail, but just make sure for them to actually understand very well what went on in your activity. And I think the examples here are also very comprehensive if you want to take a better look later on. Plans for evaluation. There are examples here, and there's also 3 phases because a lot of people think that evaluation happens only like the last phase, like only after the activity is implemented. But there's also the before, the during, and the after. I will not get into it I will not get into it because I do not want to keep you guys for very long because I've been already yapping a lot. Did it include any external partners like people who helped you with the funding? This can be starting from your faculty itself. This can be like external partner or an NGO or maybe I do not know, like a Ministry of Health, Ministry of whatever. So it's gonna be something like it can start very small, like just your faculty, like your professors even, and then you can continue maybe like to other externals if you're doing a very big activity. Everyone's favorite question: which program would you like to affiliate your activity to? We talked a lot about this as an enrollment mistake, but sometimes if your objectives are not very, very clear, you may confuse maybe if your activity may fall into this program or into another program, or maybe this focus area or another focus area, which is totally fine. Again, there will be like the program descriptions and the renewal of the focus areas. So you'll have access to that and you can read and see like yourself, okay, it makes more sense to match this to this. But if you have any questions, again, we have our program coordinators like available for you to let you know, okay, dear, maybe this doesn't fall into your focus area, but maybe consider this other thing, or like your program or whatever. So, example, if we want to enroll something into Sana's program, which is health systems, you'll have another question, or maybe okay, I'm sorry, Sanas, I will try something else. I will try. Oh my God, I just went. Okay. I will go because I want to try with one of the programs that was in this co-create, and you guys had the opportunity to look at those focus areas. I wanted to do Sanas because Sanas is also here with us, and she has been following us. Oh my God, I just clicked it. Let's do environment and health. That's the first one I saw. I'm sorry, Pat. We have our beautiful Leila here. So which focus area falls your activity falls under? Maybe we want to do like fossil fuels divestment because I think this is the focus area which has the least activities in environment and health. Correct me. Okay, I'm getting a thumbs up. So hopefully we get some enrollments in that focus area. And if there is another focus area, please choose up to 3 focus areas that are closely related to activities. So maybe you don't have to choose only one. Like if your activity also involves climate change because these 2 things are interlinked, or air pollution, you can totally do that. There's also the option to enroll under multiple programs. If it's an activity that is interlinked between 2 programs, you can also do this and note it down in this form. So if we're doing something, for example, for eco-anxiety, which is something that is merged with mental health, environment and health, you can do something like this. Is your activity replicating? Yes, or like if you got like an activity that you get it as you saw an activity of another NMO and you thought, oh my God, I want to implement that in my NMO. That's basically replicating. It's not like copy pasting, but you can just like note it down where you got your idea from. And that's it. Oh my God. I hope it wasn't as complicated as it may seem because we talk a lot about enrollment, but I just want you guys to know that it's just something that it's technical, but it also helps you in the best way possible to also evaluate your activity for the future. And I've seen it myself because I've coordinated activities myself that I have not enrolled, and I have not enrolled. I haven't gone through the objectives and the methodologies myself. And I think it was the moment I started like writing things down when I was enrolling, or when I was planning on enrolling, that I actually better understood what I wanted to achieve within my activity, and later on how I can make it better in the future. So it's not something that's only for IFMSC, but it's also mostly for you. And now I will skip through these things because I think I already talked about in the enrollment form. And just very quickly, before I close it off, I just wanted to talk about inter-NMO collaboration. Basically, inter-NMO collaboration is when if I'm an activity coordinator and I want to do an activity with Azerbaijan, and I do it as an inter-NMO collaboration. it's just an NMO that an activity that has been done by two NMOs simultaneously. So we collaborating both on conducting this activity. These are things that are mostly done online, unfortunately, because of time zone restrictions and also distance, obviously. But the reason why these activities are the best is, the reason why these activities are the best is because you are kind of dividing the work. So if you're an NPO, if you're an LPO, or if you're just an activity coordinator, you don't have to do it alone. You can do it with someone else from another NMO who are very, very willing to do something and to help. Another reason why you can do an inter-NMO activity is because maybe that another NMO has more experience in that specific program when it comes to activities or the focus area, or they have more externals, they have more funding, so they can help you out in that regard. But also when it comes to things like SCOF active status, which is very important for NMOs to keep on continuing to be active on SCOF in IFMSA, you have to enroll an activity. And sometimes, for whatever reason, an NMO cannot, for example, for external reasons or internal reasons, they cannot do an activity on their own for SCOF. This is why they can do a joint activity with another NMO, and they can submit it as an international or a regional activity, the enrollment form, and they basically both gain active status of SCOF. You don't have to do it, for example, only one gains the active status and the other one does not. And that's like a very simple way and very beneficial for both NMOs and IFMSA to have these inter-NMO activities. And you'll also have always the support of the PCs and probably the regional assistants. And before enrolling, you just have to go through everything once again. Do not submit it yet without going through everything. You have to think about the objectives, if they were smart, if the indicators of success were they measurable, was the methodology realistic, candidature form, sometimes it's not complete, maybe it's not signed, maybe you just upload a template and that's about it. And when the activity logic is already strong, so when you already know everything, what's going on with methodologies and everything, enrollment gets very, very easy. And I think very, very shortly, we can do this little activity for 10 more minutes, if that's okay with you girls. And then we can wrap up this co-create. If any of you want to take over, or if you want me to continue.
Okay. Thank you very much, Love. I think we can shortly do an eco-anxiety project. And I don't think that we need breakout rooms, no, we can do it here together. So our topic is eco-anxiety. So what we are wanting from you is give us an activity idea, give us a short methodology, and well, you can also give us a problem statement and background. No need to research whatever you know about, or you can do a little research. But yeah, overall, what are you know about eco-anxiety? What's the issue? What's the effect on health? And how can you create an activity that can be both enrolled under mental health and environmental health? The floor is yours. Get creative, be creative. Yeah, and if you have any questions, you can ask. Maybe you need a little bit of introduction to the topic before you give us an activity, but if you don't need it, that's also good. So no worries. Okay. Do we have any volunteer to give us an idea for activity?
Yeah, and also wanted to ask, are you able to write in the chat or open your mics? Because if you're unable to do so, I don't think they'll be very interactive. So just give us a thumbs up if you're able to very, very shortly work on this. Okay, so we have Luis in the chat that writes, I think there's eco-anxiety in my region related to the extreme natural events like El Niño. Okay. And Lila is asking, what kind of activity would you design for that? So looking at it in also in a mental health perspective. Okay, Sana said that our group project in Earth was eco-anxiety. Oh, that's interesting. Sana, if you also want to let us know on what was it about specifically, and like what you worked on, like give us an example about it, I think we'd really, really love to hear that.
Hi, so basically, among all the climate like and energy aspects, we choose eco anxiety because we find it an important part of, people's daily lives, especially in crowded places or large, cities or cities with disasters or, these scenarios. So we came up with this topic and we researched a little bit about it, and there is a high prevalence like eco-anxiety among people, but there is not a lot of awareness among students, especially like in our curriculum. We even read about one line about it, like literally. So our idea was to send out a mini like workshop or a mini training on eco-anxiety with the first basically session explaining it, and the second session focusing on how to advocate and raise awareness regarding that, and the last session was a sort of a simulation session on how to help someone who's going through eco-anxiety, and teaching the skills to medical students and other students, and through the simulation basically teach how we can help someone who's going through that. So basically the aim was to increase awareness of medical students, and eventually they be sort of the ones who increase awareness of other people, something like that.
Thank you very much, love. That was incredible project idea. Thank you very much. And do we have another volunteer for a project idea? I just want to mention something about anxiety related activities. So when we look at, okay, we have a comment, maybe a social media campaign on actionable preparedness and community resilience for the target group of the vulnerable population. That's a really great answer, because with a social media campaign, we can reach more people. And with the actionable preparedness, that was actually something that I just wanted to mention, that with the eco-anxiety, we most of the time thinking the emotion of helplessness. But with our activities, we kind of, I believe, canalize, I think that's the right term to use. So the change this emotional helplessness into something actionable, maybe into something, into an emotion that, okay, I am doing something to prevent this problem rather than sitting and doing nothing to prevent it. So maybe we can do activities in that will touch two aspects. The first one is understanding the situation, then helping the mental health of that person. The second is maybe increasing awareness of that person about the things that they can do, like actions, climate actions or campaigns that they can join, maybe advocacy, maybe campaigns, etc. So yeah, that was the thing that I wanted to mention, that when we talk about eco-anxiety, let's not just look into the emotion helplessness. Let's do something with emotion with our human resources. And nature walks, so great. Met a friend in Austria who walks in the forest barefoot sometimes to connect ground with nature. Wow, that sounds very cool. I would love to do that, by the way. Okay. Do we have other ideas?
If not, I'd also like to ask you, because again, sometimes creation on the spot or brainstorming on the spot may be a bit difficult, but I wanted to ask you, are you interested in actually coordinating something in related to eco-anxiety? So even if you don't have any ideas right now, we can keep in touch, we can keep in contact, and we can help you out in the long run. So just let us know if you are interested in actually coordinating something. Just give us a thumbs up or just write in the chat. Okay, well, I may get that as a maybe no, which is totally fine because a lot of NMOs may be more focused on other focus areas that may be more relevant to their countries, their communities. But nonetheless, if at any point you have any ideas, like even just a spark, just one single idea, one word, and you want to translate it into an activity, just so you know, the whole SCOF international team, and especially the program coordinators, whenever they hear the word activity, their eyes light up. So if you have any ideas about anything and you want to translate it in an activity that has some impact either in your community or the national level, just please don't hesitate at any point in time to reach out to us. As you may have heard about this opportunity in WhatsApp or through our emails, so you probably have some contact. I think Nida just wrote her number down in the chat. Again, if you would like at any point have any questions or have any ideas and you'd like our help, or maybe you would want to brainstorm with us, mostly the program coordinators, because they know just a bit more about all these things that I do and maybe the rest of the IFMS International, the SCOF International team does. You're very, very welcome to contact us at any point in time. So before we wrap up, I want to know if there is one thing that you've learned from the session or that you will remember from the session. Can be just like one word. Besides the emails of our program coordinators. I hope you remember those. Okay, enrollment. Okay, I'm glad that you got to know a bit more about enrollment. Again, first time that I was like hearing enrollment. It's like, guys, stop. I don't know what this is, and I do not want to know what this is. I'm scared, but it's not scary. It's just something like if you enroll once, then the second time, third time, fourth time are so easy. They come up so easily because like you were already a pro. If you were able to enroll something in the first time, you already know how to do it. So high impact. Okay. High impact of activities. I'm thinking they're also considering the amazing examples that our PCs showed us for both programs, because it's very important, because we talk a lot about examples of activities, of methodologies you can use, but seeing things yourself, seeing what other NMOs have been doing, it's very great because it helps you out replicate ideas and translate them into the local context or the national context in your country. So thank you about your inputs. So enrollment and reporting are of importance. Again, enrollment is just basically the form, and reporting is the moment that you are doing this activity and you have been doing this activity. You can report it every year. Again, as Leila mentioned, if there are no changes, to the activity whatsoever, you can just report it, and it's very, very easy because the activity already exists in the database because it's already enrolled, and you just have to write like one more thing or like two more things and just submit the report and you're done, and you still have your SCOF active status. So that is amazing. I love reporting. And I think everyone loves reporting because it makes life so much easier for everyone. So I think with this, we can wrap up our fourth and final episode of Co-Create, because now I think we've tackled all the programs, all the SCOF programs, which is very, very exciting. I left the best for last, the two queens of the programs of SCOF IT. I mean, I also have Sanas here, who was the first one who started the series. So, like, all the program coordinators are of the absolute best, but these girls right here, like, have such a special place in my heart, and Sanas, of course. So you have their emails in the chat, and they're also in the slides. So, because it's already been like, oh my God, it's already been like 2 hours of us yapping about activities and enrollments and programs, the program coordinator's favorite things ever. I would really love for us to wrap up with a little picture, just a photo time. Would be so great if you could help us. Maybe open your cameras if you're able to do so. Just let me know if you're able to open your cameras and if you're trying to open your camera. And if not, we can just continue with this screen. Also, I would really love maybe for one of the PCs to help me out with the picture, because I'm not in my laptop right now and I have no idea how to take a picture in this
No
laptop.
worries. I'll try to take it. No worries.
Okay. Thank you,
So-
Masuda, for opening the camera.
Yeah, thank you very much. And if you're not waiting for anyone else, I think we can take the picture. So let's pause, guys. We have one scarf and one you can make in a heart. Let's take two, starting with the heart. So, okay. 3, 2, 1. Okay, I think I can't take it. Sorry. Let me check if I take it or not, okay?
Okay, wait, let me try as well. Wait, okay, let me try. Just 1 second.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can take it as well.
Yeah, because I don't know why my computer is lagging. when I'm
Okay.
taking the picture.
Pat, can you help us?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, of course.
Okay.
Okay, then we can do the hats. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then the scarf, the orange sign. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I hope everyone is there already. Louis, Masube, Zai. Do you guys want us to wait for you, or should we just go ahead?
Masube has his camera open.
Oh, okay. Louis and Zai. I'm
Wait
sorry.
1 second. I'm trying to show it, but then it disappears. Okay, now it's here, right? Okay, let's go.
Yeah, okay. Okay, then I think we just. Oh, wait, sorry, guys. Sorry, just a sec. I'm sorry. Okay. I think we're gonna repeat everything. So let's start with the orange one. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then now the hat. We can do the hat. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then maybe something to wrap up the pieces. Co-create. I don't know, any sign, any creative one you guys may want us to do.
How they did in the movies, like this, like to. I think
And
like this, I guess.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. No, unfortunately, I won't be able to do it, but it's
I don't
okay.
know how
you
to
can
do
just do
it.
one hand.
Okay, yeah, we can see you, Rahim. We can see you. Okay, so are you guys ready?
No, can you give me 1 second?
Okay, no
I'm
worries.
trying to,
Okay.
I'm trying to put my phone somewhere so it's safe. Okay, just 1 second. No, I'm not here.
Should I
Okay, what the
use
fuck? Okay.
something with one hand though? Like maybe, but that one. Okay, I think that's better. Okay.
Okay. Okay, are we ready?
Where's my
Okay
pizza?
then. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, amazing. I'm done, Queen.
Thank you very much, love. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining.
Thank you so much for joining, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, your night, morning, evening, whatever your time zone is, and whatever part of the day, part of the world you're in. Thank you so much for sticking with us for more than 2 hours. And I really hope this was at least just a tad bit informative and you learned something. And maybe you're interested in conducting activity in environmental health or mental health, or maybe eco-anxiety, and hope to see those ideas translated into action and filled in the enrollment form very soon for our amazing program coordinators to check them out. Thank you so much for joining. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. See you soon. Bye bye.
Bye.